This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so we've got an update on the previous story from the previous episode of Super Yacht News. This is where we talked about Ronald Gibbs, the ex-partner of one of Britain's top law firms in London, and the purchase of a yacht with the trust fund set up with money from a Saudi princess. Now, if you've not seen that video, I don't want to go through the whole story again, so I'll put a link in the top corner. You can go and watch it. We've had multiple people tell us that Ronald Gibbs did in fact own the yacht mentioned in the video, the Sunseeker 131 model named Elysium. Now, we also had access to paperwork that proves he is or was at least the owner as recently as 2021. And we've seen emails as well where he signed those emails regarding the yacht as the owner/captain with a standard yachting signature in an email with a picture of the yacht, etc. This is pretty standard in the industry. Now, we're told by sources that wish to remain anonymous that he was the owner as recently as the end of 2023. However, we've been able to independently verify that information. Now, Gibbs has a Yachtmaster coastal qualification, which, you know, it's what it sounds like. He's allowed to sail a vessel of a certain size, but only in coastal areas, means you can't take them out to sea. Now, it would appear from paperwork that we've seen that Gibbs used the yacht as the owner. This has been confirmed by people close to the vessel. And the reason why I'm saying that is because initially it was feasible that the yacht could have been purchased as an asset for this trust fund or even for the use of the princess, right? So we were trying to confirm that he was using it as if it was his own, and that seems to be the case. He ran the yacht himself, opting not to use a management company as well, a yacht management company, which is pretty standard. It is a small boat though, so I suspect it might not be that unusual for a yacht of that size. Now, we've seen emails sent by Gibbs to the Sunseeker broker, so this also confirms he was operating the yacht as the owner as well. Now, there's an article, somebody sent us a link to this article. There's an article in Boat International from 2019 on the website, and they interview owner Ronald Gibbs. And in the article, he talks about how he ordered and spec'd this boat with Sunseeker directly. Now, they also say in the article, Gibbs is an experienced owner with 4 Sunseekers from 15 meters to 35 meters already behind him. So this was his 5th yacht. The article goes on to say that Gibbs was clear from the start of the features that he wanted to personalize, and he's quoted as saying, "I wrote the spec before I ordered the boat." Now, I'll put a link into the description if you want to read the article in full. Now, so despite claims from one source in the previous video that he never owned that yacht, and the broker's Burgess Yachts also saying he was not the owner, well, this is incorrect. Now, in fact, Burgess even had the yacht for sale on their website at one point whilst in his ownership, according to that same Boat International article. Now, the court papers say Gibbs agreed, this is going back to the recent court papers, say that Gibbs agreed to liquidate the princess's fund in 2018 to return the money to the princess, which he never did, according to the court. That was in 2018, but in 2018, he took delivery of his new Sunseeker. So the fact that the yacht was new meant he must have ordered the yacht at least 2 years before, as it takes time to build, right? It was a brand new build. So he was telling the court he would liquidate the assets, whilst it seems that he was allegedly buying and speccing a new yacht at the same time. Now, according to those court papers, he paid 17 million pounds for the yacht, which is 21.4 million US dollars at today's conversion rate. Now, the paperwork we've seen says the yacht was completed in 2018, so that confirms what we were just saying earlier. Now, according to the same Boat International article, the yacht was put up for sale soon after delivery on the Burgess website for 18 million pounds. And the reason for the immediate sale, according to the article, was that Gibbs was already eyeing up a larger yacht. And that yacht is now for sale, as mentioned in the last video, on the Sunseeker website at 13.9 million euros, which is 11.9 million pounds or $14.9 million. So that yacht has lost value, according to that price, of 5.8 million euros, which is £5 million or 6.2 million US dollars. So it's not even worth what he paid for it. Now, we contacted Sunseeker directly and the broker who's selling the yacht, but he refused to comment on the story. So where did the money go? What happened to all the money? In the court judgment where the judge ordered Gibbs to sell his family home, the judge said that Mr. Gibbs gave evidence of £50 million worth of assets that could be liquidated, but there is no evidence before me on saleable or resaleable assets in this jurisdiction, which from my understanding seems to suggest that he's saying that he doesn't have any assets to sell. Now, the yacht company he bought, which was called Silver Arrows Marine, has not sold any yacht according to other sources. Allegedly just one boat sold to a Russian buyer, although we've not been able to independently verify that claim. So it appears that the money for those shares in that company it seems like they wouldn't have much value, so we wouldn't be able to recover any money from there either. The only other asset that was purchased with the money from the fund was an apartment in Montenegro at a value of 3.3 million euros. Not sure what happened to that. It's kind of out of our wheelhouse here, really, as to investigate what happened to that apartment. Now, the court case where he was ordered to sell his house, that was just for damages and for court costs for the princess, up to a value of £2 million. The case to try to recover the complete assets hasn't even started yet. Obviously, once that case comes up into court, we will follow that up for you. All right, guys, we're going to move on to a Friday yacht spot. This is from the Eastman Sea Dog Troy from City Centre Yachts. He sent in this stunning footage of motor yacht Rising Sun from Frigate Bay in St. Kitts, as I said. The yacht, this is a big yacht, 138 meters or 450 feet. Built in Germany by Lursen in 2007 for Larry Ellison, and it was purchased by the filmmaker and entrepreneur David Geffen in 2010. Now, it has a gross tonnage of over 7,000 gross tons, and the yacht is a successful charter yacht and has seen many celebrities on board, such as Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, Bruce Springsteen, and Sir Paul McCartney. Now, one quirk of this boat, it used to have, I think it may have been fixed now, is it didn't originally have zero-speed stabilizers, if I'm remembering it correctly, and the vessel would roll heavily side to side, even in quite calm waters. Zero-speed stabilizer just simply means that the stabilizers continue to work when the vessel isn't moving. The older stabilizers didn't have that feature, and zero speed is actually a trade name of quantum. So you have there are other names used for zero speed stabilizers, but basically this boat didn't have it at the beginning, and it would roll quite heavily. And I think they've retrofitted zero speed stabilizers onto the boat. We've got another boat here as well in Miami. This is just from last week. This is Motor Yacht Infinity. This is also a big boat, but I think it's a 117 meter boat. This has a capacity for 16 guests and a crew of 32. And the yacht is owned by Eric Schmidt of Harvard Freight Tools, not to be confused with Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, who just bought Motor Yacht Kismet and renamed it Whisper. This is the other guy, the other Schmidt. Now, the owner also has a support vessel named Intrepid, built by Damon Yachts. And Intrepid is a 70 meter or 227 foot yacht in its own right. So that's the support vessel for that boat. The chap who sent the photographs in was actually on board a cruise ship at the time. I think it was Freedom of the Seas cruise ship. So yeah, he took these photos for us from Miami. In other instances, there's been no VE day, you know, there's just been like a prolonged situation where you're working with people that you don't like. And the only solution is to leave, right? Now, what if your boss is the douchebag and you want to leave, but you're in this situation, right, where you can't get a good reference because your boss is the douchebag? Be sure to check out our podcast. Episode 4 is now live on the podcast channel at Yacht Report Podcast on YouTube. You can also find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well as Audible. Here we talk about all things super yachts in a more informal, relaxed atmosphere with anecdotal stories from past adventures in the industry. And also remember to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/eSysman. You'll find many videos not featured on YouTube, including our Atlantic vlog series and behind the scenes footage from our trips to super yacht marinas in Europe. Now, if you've got any information for us on any of the stories or any other stories, please be sure to get in touch. You can get us in the email address and the ticker. You can get us on the About page of the YouTube channel, on Instagram, on Facebook Messenger, on Twitter, and also on Threema. Be sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for future notifications. I hope you have a happy Friday, and I'll catch up with you soon. Actually, quick story about Friday. Happy Friday. When I worked in the cruise ship industry, we used to have a woman that sent us an email every Friday wishing us happy Friday. And after months of this, I eventually replied to her and said, do you realize that we work 7 days a week on board? So Friday means nothing to us. So while you're going home for the weekend, we're still working. So it got quite annoying after a while to hear that. So if you work 7 days a week, or if you work the weekend, then I apologize for saying happy Friday. All right, guys, anyway, have a great weekend.